the computer. All right, so we are recording. Today is March 29th, and I'm so thankful and excited that each one of you guys have invested in yourself and in your business to join us tonight.
This was before I had in a car.
So if you have a lot of noise going on in the background, you can just mute yourself. Today was wear your crazy hat. I don't have a crazy hat, but I have my Pampered Chef hat on. I love it. And we're going to just talk about products. So I hope everybody brought a product with them to training. So we're going to just talk about like the features and the benefits of products, right? So a feature of a product is the part of the product, right? So I have the Close-In Cut. Love this product. And I really wanted to do this training tonight because a lot of the products, you may not have all of the products, right, yet in your collection. So it's nice to kind of go over them and talk about the different products, okay? So the feature of this product would be, it's very pretty, it's compact, right? It doesn't take up a lot of room. The benefits of this is that it's going to save you money because you can make your own chicken cutlets with this. So you can take a chicken breast and put it in here, and you have to use a knife that's longer than the diameter of the product, right? So that when you close it, you can hold it in here so your fingers are safe. So that's a benefit, right? The benefit is protecting your fingers. That's important. And then you're going to take your knife and slide it inside to cut your chicken breast into, and then you can take the one breast side and then cut that one again. So you can get 4 cutlets out of one breast, right? So the difference between features and benefits, does that make sense? So benefit is it's dishwasher safe, right? Look, this pushes down, this pushes up, so it's a lot of room in here, and love this product, okay? Close-In Cut. Who wants to go next? Thank you.
I will.
I beat you, Lynn.
Okay, good.
One of the products, and I'm trying to find it in the catalog, is I didn't think, well, as a kid growing up, my mom had cast iron. And I didn't know how to clean it. I just used soap on it, and then I oiled it after it was done. I got my kitty all over me here. But when I got these last year, they kind of sat, but I pull them out every so often because I don't have a lot of room in my kitchen. I have a small kitchen, so I can't really have a lot of my cookware because I've got everything from Generation 2 all the way through to what we have now. I've got a little bit of everything, even the white ceramic piece. But anyway, this is the 10-inch skillet, cast iron. I didn't think I would use this as much as I do. I have been using this pan at least once or twice a week. I have fallen in love with this pan. And the reason is my husband goes down to a place with his buddy. It's called Restaurant Depot, and they have all kind of different meats and fish and all this and that. And he gets a big tenderloin about this long. It's got to be about 2 feet long. And I slice it down with my electric knife, and I pack it and I freeze it. So when we want steaks, I just take a pack out, thaw them out, and I heat this baby up. I wait till it gets good and hot. I heat it up, and I put those steaks on. They come out so tender and so juicy. It has blown my mind. Last night, I didn't know what I was doing for dinner, so I took chicken breasts out, and I didn't get my Close-In Cut, but I cut them in half, and I heated this up again. I seasoned them with a little bit of the rotisserie seasoning, and if you haven't used it yet, go easy on it. Because I went easy on it, and my husband said they were still kind of on the spicy side, right, Laurel? I see you shaking your head. But they were delicious and tender and juicy. And my kitty, who is like my little doggy, she's like everywhere. She smells food, she wants food. So she always gets a little bit of something. But the benefit of this is it's easy to use. Don't be afraid. If you have this, don't be afraid to use it.
That's awesome.
it is amazing. I love it. The features are it can cook anywhere because it's cast iron. It can go on a barbecue pit. It can go on a campfire. It can go on your grill. It can go in your oven, your under your broiler, just like the Rock Crocs. Only thing is, it's not dishwasher safe. Just some hot water and a scrub brush, and you're good to go. What I do with mine is once I'm done with it, I put it on the stove and turn the gas on low to dry it out. Because if you don't and you oil it, you could still have water in there. So you want that dried out completely, about 20 minutes on a low gas. Turn it off, put a little bit of oil in, rub it in, and you're done.
I didn't know that.
Wow.
That's super smart.
Ah, there
I'm new
you
to
go.
cast iron,
Yeah.
so yeah, that's
Actually, I
awesome.
think, Christy, it's in the use and care.
I'm sure it probably is, but
If you're like
Yeah.
me, you do it after. You read it after you're
Yeah.
supposed to.
yeah.
But if you have these, use them, and if you don't get them and use them, they're phenomenal. I have fallen
Janet.
in love with this little one.
Janet, that was awesome. Thank you so much, because I'm not a cast iron user either, and I need to venture more into cast iron. I've used some of the pieces, but that was awesome. Thank you so much.
And I'm
Christy-
doing a sportsman show in 2 weeks, a week from this. In 2 weeks, I'm leaving. I'm going out. It's the 10th and the 11th. Guess what's going? These my
Awesome.
Rock Crocs, anything that can be used for camping, geared toward camping and outdoor.
Awesome. Christy, are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. If you see me swatting, there's an annoying mosquito and it keeps going right around my face. I'm like,
You'd be
what?
like,
Stop. All right, so I'm going to talk about the whipped cream maker because this is a great demo item because it's literally a 20, 30 second, 45-second demo. If you talk a little bit, it's less than 60 seconds. And you can do a quick video on your business page with just your whipped cream maker. So I wanted to, usually when I talk about my whipped cream maker and I am on live, I'll ask people if they know what's in Cool Whip. Do you really know what's in Cool Whip? So let me ask you guys that. What is in Cool Whip? Do you know? Anybody? So
Coconut oil.
so no, not coconut. That's,
That we can't pronounce.
A lot of bad stuff.
yeah. So you want a little shock factor, right? So this is not an expensive tool. People can easily add this onto any of their orders, right? So let's talk about Cool Whip's ingredients. So Cool Whip has the number one ingredient is water. The second ingredient is hydrogenated vegetable oil, then high fructose corn syrup, and then skim milk. So your Cool Whip is a syrupy oil. That's basically what your Cool Whip is. So that sounds delicious, right? So let me show you with our whipped cream maker how easily you can make fresh whipped cream in 30 seconds. You know what the ingredients are, you know what you're putting in your body, and there's no more syrupy oil, right? Going on all your yummy, delicious desserts. So great, you open it up. There's a line right here in the middle. That's a benefit. So you don't have to measure anything. Just 1 full cup of your heavy whipping cream. I usually put in 1 to 2 tablespoons of powdered sugar. And the more powdered sugar you put in, the thicker it gets faster. So usually it takes 30 seconds to pump, but if you put 2 tablespoons of powdered sugar, it takes maybe 15 seconds. It doesn't take long at all. And then also I do 1 teaspoon of vanilla. Now I also talk about the holidays. I've done peppermint whipped cream. I've done almond whipped cream. You can change up the flavor of your whipped cream and do a whipped cream bar. How fun is that? And so then I'll just put the lid on and then I'll show them how this comes off. This is the anti-skid grip, right? So you're not going to be slipping and sliding all over your counter. But what's best is if there happens to be leftovers, not always, but then this goes on and it goes in your fridge. So that's a great function of this as well too. And then I'll just pump, or I'll let my little 4-year-old pump, because he's super cute to be on video. And then everyone's like, what did you just do? I need one of those in my life. Give them a wow factor, something quick and easy, keep it simple, but super fun. There you go.
Love it. Love it. Who wants to go next?
Joe,
Thanks, Johnny. Go ahead.
I haven't got mine yet, but I want to talk about the quick cooker and a couple of the recipes that I'm pro pressure cooker for years and years and years. And I think this one is the best the market has with the safety features that it has. And the recipes, if you like hard-boiled eggs, I do the 5-5-5, 5 minutes in the pressure cooker, 5 minutes in the ice cold water. And what the pressure cooker does is takes that, or the little thing around the egg, it breaks that. It's the easiest hard-boiled eggs you'll ever peel. And I also do steamed shrimp in the pressure cookers or the quick cookers. And it's 1 minute. And you get a can of beer,
Rex, I need you to do a credit card charge for me, please.
Karen, maybe you can mute yourself.
and 1 minute in the pressure cooker, and you've got the best steamed shrimp around. And the pot roast, 55
I
minutes.
like the tip about beer.
Yeah, beer and vinegar and Old Bay or whatever seasoning you like. And my last one is the pot roast, 55 minutes, a cheap piece of meat, can of cream of mushroom soup, carrots, potatoes, and it tastes like it's been in the crock pot all day long. And
Love
I
it.
can't wait to
Love
get
it.
my
Love
quick-
it. Thank you so much. Thank
Sure.
you. Thank you. Who's next?
I think Lynn's next. Lynn, you ready?
All right.
Yeah, I'm ready. Okay. And no, I'm not at home in my kitchen. And no, I don't have my products in my car. But guess what I do have? I have a catalog. And so we can sell anything out of the catalog. Love the catalog. And my favorite product is actually on page 62. And it happens to be my apron. And the reason I love my apron is because I can have all of the Pampered Chef products and a commission at the same time. And I don't have to choose which products are my favorite because I get them all for being a consultant. Whoop, whoop. So, and one of the things that, and I literally, when I was doing my cooking shows, that's what I would say. They always, what's your favorite product? What's your favorite product? Now, going back to the features and benefits, you want to be able to, the features are like the specifications of the product, how it's made, what it's made of, how much money it costs, what's the guarantee on it, all of those things. And I like to see the features are kind of like if it's what a man would be interested in a lot of times. So you have to know that when you're selling these products, you have to also know your audience. So if you're selling to a group of men, you can forget the flowery parts of it. They want to know the specifications, okay? Then you want to cross over to benefits. Why is their life better because of it? When you try on the Pampered Chef apron, your life is going to change for the better. Your family's going to have better relationships because they don't revolve around you all the time. You're going to get fabulous commission checks and trips and friends and all kinds of things that would enrich your life when it might not otherwise. You wouldn't know if you didn't try. So my apron represents my business and that I can have it all. So
Whoop, 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 whoop. I love that. Awesome. Awesome. Who's next? Should I just start calling on people?
I'll go
Denise,
Yeah, I'll
all
go
right.
next. Well, okay, I actually was going to bring it in, but my husband decided to use it, and I was like, so I grabbed my popcorn maker because that's my second favorite. I use it every day. I'm a popcorn lover, but I won't talk about that. My blender, y'all, is my absolutely favorite. I'm serious. There you go, Chris. And I've probably sold more of those than anything else because it truly is my favorite. So I can talk about it and the benefits of it and just everything around it, but it has changed my family's life with the clean eating, and I've been able to help promote that. But from like you, Christy, I look at what's inside of things and, peanut butter and your jams and, just all these things that now we're able to, create recipes and do things with, clean eating and so easy. And with that blender, it's been amazing for us. But my kids are all athletes, so they use the shakes with Enrichables. And, so we use that even before we had the smoothie. adapter, but I've been able to I always make strawberry jam when I would go to all my cooking shows, and now I take them with me to vendor events. I always make the little jars, and I've passed those out. That's how I usually sell. I take those as my host gift, as a door drawing gift, and those are usually how I wind up selling a couple of them, because once they taste that strawberry jam in that recipe, it's just like amazing. People usually are very interested after that with it. So, but powdered sugar, whipped cream, I've made it all in there. So once, we went into COVID and we figured out there was a lot of stuff that was missing. I learned really quick how to use that blender for a lot more than just what the normal is. So that's mine. That's my go-to.
That's awesome, Denise. And when somebody I had mentioned about powdered sugar, I was like, oh my goodness, why didn't I ever think that?
It's so much cheaper. So
Yeah.
much cheaper, like pennies.
Right?
So yeah, you never run out of powdered sugar. You have sugar, you have powdered sugar. So it's amazing. So I love it. I mean, oats. I'll and make flour out of that real quick to make something. So yeah, it's amazing how much you can really do with that. But there's so many people that like, oh, I've got the Ninja, or oh, I've got the Vitamix. So knowing the benefits and knowing that, hey, our competitors are half, ours is half the price of our closest competitors compared to features. The fact that ours does jam and nobody else has, explaining that heating element part is just really the turnabout. Is like when they start listening to the fact like, oh, it is different, because I had a Vitamix, I had a Ninja, and they're both gone. So we just use that now. In fact, my Ninja went to college with my kids because I was like, yeah, I don't need it. They wanted the blender, but I wouldn't do that. It wasn't a fair trade. So that's my favorite.
Well, what I share, since she stole my thunder, but
Sorry,
I had to talk for her, is I share too a lot of those benefits, but I also tell them this is a glass pitcher. This isn't plastic. So this is a nice sturdy one. It's not some plastic that you're going to worry about, but they also built in the knuckle guard, so you're not going to burn your hands on it. Whereas others haven't thought about that feature, and then the safety of it. It's not going to go on until you get the lid on all the way. So, knowing things like that, I do tell him though, please don't put him in the water, just like Manny, the food, manual food processor. He does not swim. Put him in, but let him know it's got its own self-cleaning cycle. Do the others do that? No. I tell him that soup that you made in the Vitamix, why is it warm? Because it was from the blades whipping it about, not because it heated it up with the element on the bottom. They're like, oh, and we're half the price. And then when you host, good Lord, you're paying pennies for it. So just a little bit more to add on to Denise's.
Even the Bennett lid too is another feature that the others don't have. You have to take off the lid with the Vitamix and some of the others because they don't have a vented lid. So you have to open it up when it gets too hot with theirs. And we've got that, that heat, that vented lid. So that's another feature.
And the fresh Parmesan cheese.
Oh, that was so good.
I will never buy jarred cheese again. I'm getting low. I told my husband I have to get another block of Parmesan cheese. He says, oh, so you can play with it in your blender. I said, yep.
Yep. Well, the oat flour, it's like 7 seconds and your 1.5 cups of oats is now all fine powder. It's amazing.
I wanted to show Denise, these are the size you give out, right? Those cute little ones.
Those little ones.
So these are the small little mason jars. They're great for samples. They're great for hosts. They're great for just giving out. They're also great. I freeze them. I put my jam in here and then freeze it and just pull one out at a time. So it's always fresh. None of it goes bad. So those are a great little jar.
So
Well, thanks for that,
smart.
Christy, because that was the first thing I made and it was really good.
Yeah. Oh, and there's a strawberry rhubarb recipe. Oh my gosh, it's so delicious. I don't even really eat jam a lot, but I like making it because it just tastes so good. It's so easy now.
Good old comfort food.
I've made jam before and then made peanut butter at the party when I knew there were going to be kids, and then make those like Crustables with that's a great thing. But having that jam ahead of time has just really been game changing for a lot of my parties.
Definitely.
If you haven't tried the cheese sauce yet, guys, in your blender, oh my gosh, that cheese sauce is to die for. And so is a hot chocolate.
A hot chocolate. Hot chocolate a little bit longer. You're thinking like so long, but it's so worth it.
Yeah, it's worth the 45 minutes for sure.
You just gave me an idea for that that Sportsman show for making the jam.
Just know that it takes a while though. So
Oh
just
yeah,
I
I've
would
made
have,
it before.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'd have some up ready beforehand.
Oh yeah.
Did
Yeah.
anybody else want to share what they have? Veronica, how about you?
Mine is the everyday crock, simply because you can brown your meat in it, saute your vegetables while it's on the stove, put it in the stand, let it cook all day, take it out, eat it. When you ask your honey to put the leftovers away, they put the pot in the fridge. You can put the whole thing in the fridge. And then when you get ready to do your leftovers to eat them, you can put the whole thing in the microwave, and then you only wash it one time. 5 different pots, but one time.
That right there. Love it.
And my second favorite is the quick cooker, only because my husband loves it and he cooks everything in it, which means I don't have to cook it.
So with the quick cooker real quick, have you guys done rice in the quick cooker yet?
No.
Okay, so I was doing rice in the pot in addition to meat, in addition to whatever else I was cooking. But then one day I just said, let me try rice by itself. And so I just put 1 cup of rice, white jasmine rice, and I did 1.5 cups of water, and then a few chunks of butter. You can also do oil if you want to do that too. And then you just turn it on and steam it for like 7 minutes. And oh my gosh, it's so good and so fluffy and so easy. And I did actually like shredded up carrots the other day, threw some in there. So I had fried rice without the eggs, in a matter of minutes in the quick cooker. So I would definitely try the rice if you haven't done it yet. It's super, super easy and a wow, because rice is hard, right? You're thinking people have trouble with rice. So that's a good video as well.
Christy, I'll add something to that. As I like when the quick cooker came out, and I'm still doing this recipe, is the salsa lettuce, the salsa wraps.
Oh,
Well, what I
chicken
do is at my shows, I pull the chicken out real quick, throw a cup of rice back in there because you got all that nice juice. Put it back in, cook it for 5 minutes. Oh my, it makes like the best Spanish rice. My husband loves like the chicken and rice burritos. He loves it. So it's an easy way to sop up that extra juice that's left in that pot, and adds another layer to that recipe. So that's a fun way to show that with the rice. Works for me anyway.
That is so awesome. So awesome. Well, it looks like our amazing guest speaker has joined us, and I'm so thrilled. I had the pleasure of meeting Anna on one of the vacations that we earned, and I really can't remember which one it was, but she is amazing. Which one was it? Punta Cana, one of my favorite trips. Oh my gosh. So we got to know each other and became fast friends, and I just love her to pieces. She is amazing. She's almost at $2 million in sales. What? How crazy is that, right? She has 309 career recruits. She's earned 23 trips, and she's earned excellence awards 21 years. Wow. So she lives in Texas with her husband, and they have a whole bunch of his and her kids in combination, and they're just awesome. And I love them so much. And you guys, if you don't have a pen and paper, grab something to write down, because you're going to want to take some notes, because she is amazing. So I'm going to shut up and let her take over. I'm going to if I can figure out how to make her spotlight speaker, I'll do that too.
Well, thank you, Danielle, but I don't think that I am any more amazing than all of you guys that are on here. I know there's some hot shots that I see on here, so I'm already kind of starting to sweat, getting a little nervous here. So Danielle had said that you guys were talking about like features and benefits, and I was actually trying to do a quick little video before I hopped on, so I didn't hear a lot of what you guys said, but I did want to pipe in on something you guys were talking about with the blender. And that is, if any of you guys make almond milk, do you know what to do with the pulp afterwards? Did you guys talk about that? Yes, no?
We did not. No.
Do you guys know what to do with it?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, put it in your oven and dry it out. Put it like on either one of the stoneware pieces or, one of your cookies on the sheet pans and dry it out in the oven at about 225 is really the good temperature to have it sit at for a couple of hours. And then when it comes out, it's going to be like these hard bricks. Like you don't have to spread it real thin. It's going to be these like hard bricks. Put that in your blender and run it back through there. And then you have almond flour.
Mhm.
So then you're literally not wasting anything. So just a little hint for you guys to do there. So Denise had said that Danielle had said that you guys were talking about features and benefits. And so I know that y'all all brought your favorite tools. Oh, I forgot my hat. Darn it. I had a great chicken hat because we have chickens and I'm glad that we're here in the kitchen because I have a whole new batch of baby chickens and baby ducks in my office and they're really loud. So it's kind of good that I mean, they're in a playpen. They're not just running around my office. But anyway, so I told Danielle, I was like, I don't know what you guys want me to talk about because I love everything. Well, almost everything. I'm definitely passionate about probably 90% of the products. I'm a little hyper, so I get pretty excited about any of it. There's a couple of favorites that I do have that I'll talk about, but then I want you guys to be prepared to ask me, like whether you're a new consultant or you're a seasoned consultant, but you don't really know what to say about something, let's kind of play with it together. Let's figure out some words to say. I don't have all the magic words, I guarantee you that, but I bet together we can come up with some wonderful things. So one of the things that I have to show you that I am like flipping crazy about, and I want to give you a little bit of background story behind it, is the insulated bowls. And I'm just going to tell you, if you don't have these yet, oh my gosh, get yourself at least one of them and start playing with it. So let me tell you a little story behind these. So I was honored to be chosen as one of the consultants to play with, debut, critique, change, whole 9 yards with the products that came out in the fall. And the insulated bowls were 2 of them. So when we got them, I instantly started thinking about dinner. Now, we had not talked to home office too much about them, but I instantly started thinking about dinner. And let me tell you why. So 2 things. I somehow did not develop the amazing talent that my mom has, where I swear to you, she clicks her heels together, snaps her fingers and wiggles her nose, and everything is ready at the exact same time. I don't know if it's just because I'm squirrely and I'm all over the place, or if I just didn't get that talent. But I always have things ready at different times. That's the first part of it. The second part of it is we're a blended family. I have 4 biological children and 3 stepchildren. So I'm a stepmom. For any of you that are out there, you kind of know the challenges of that. It could be their favorite food and they're not going to eat it because I cooked it because they're mad at me that day, whatever. But honestly, what we've got are some big dietary craziness. I've got 1 that's a vegan. I have 3 that are now vegetarian. I can eat vegetarian, but I like my meat, right? I like my proteins. I like my chicken. I like my beef. And so I kind of have become a short order cook of sorts in that I have to make sure that there's something for everybody to eat, which means that just added to me not getting food ready at the same time. So during the pandemic, of course, they're all home with us 24/7. Not my kids are older, so 2 of mine would be here occasionally. So 5 kids and then my husband and I. And so I'm cooking usually 4 to 5 different things a night. That's where the insulated bowls came in. One night we were having veggie tacos. And so I was doing them on the double burner grill pan, and I have to do 3. Okay, so mind you guys, 3 of these are boys. Teenage boys, well, 20 and teenage boys, so they eat, a half a garden by themselves. And so I would have to do 3 pans of grilled veggies. Well, it's hard to keep those warm. In comes the insulated bowl. So I pulled this out. I started putting the veggies in here. And then after the next round was done, I lifted it. All this steam came out. I started taking pictures and putting it on our little home office group. And instantly, Jackie calls me and she goes, oh my gosh. She says, we weren't even thinking about these for everyday use. We were thinking about them for entertaining only. So when Pampered Chef developed these, they were literally thinking about these for entertaining, whereas we use them every day. Guys, here's our dinner. I did breakfast for dinner. Okay, and I don't know if you can see the steam coming out of it. I finished this about 20 minutes ago. I did a garden omelet and veggie sausage. We use them every day. You can take these by the pool. You can take them outside to eat. You can take them, with you if you're going on a picnic. They're awesome. If you don't have them, get those. The second thing, so do you guys have any questions about the insulated bowls? Raise your hand if you have them. Let me see if I can get to where I can see everybody. Hang on. View, hang on a second. Gallery. Okay, raise your hand if you have them. You don't have, okay, I see a couple of you nodding your heads. Guys, you gotta get them. You gotta get them. They are so useful for every single day. Every day, they're super useful because you can stick them in there, you can wash everything up, and even if somebody's coming to eat 45 minutes later, it's still gonna be nice and warm. Okay, now if they like it super hot, you might have to pop it in the microwave. But same thing, I heard somebody saying something about the rock crock, whenever they're done, all their husband has to do is take this and put it in the refrigerator. I actually had to wash this one before I pulled it out to use it tonight, because it was in the refrigerator with the batch of pancakes that I made this morning. So same thing. You can totally store it in the fridge. All right. So any questions about the insulated bowls?
Nope.
Nope. Okay. So now let me talk to you guys a little bit about the stoneware. Does everybody have at least one piece of the new Stone Fusion stoneware? Yes. Yeah, I see Danielle doing this number. Okay, so if you guys have not explored all the different breaking the rule features of the stoneware, I highly recommend, hang on. Hey, honey, I have your dinner behind me. Okay. He's trying to avoid the camera. I highly recommend that you try a couple of things. Number one, find the veggie that you absolutely love. Okay, whatever roasted veggie you like, whether it be squash, whether it be eggplant, whether it be broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, whatever. And I want you to throw that stone in the oven and heat it up, okay, at 400, 425, 450, for a good 20 minutes. Get your veggies, cut them up, toss them with a little bit of oil, add your seasoning, and then open your oven and dump them on there and just listen to that sizzle. Okay, can you guys agree with me that there's just something about that like sizzle that you hear that's just really satisfying, right? Or is it just me? Okay, you guys give me a head shake somewhere, right? Okay, isn't there just, whether it's a hot pan under water, which is the worst thing to do, or like food, just that sizzle. Oh God, it just sounds good. Do that with your veggies. Depending upon what kind of veggies they are. Broccoli cooks really, really fast. Cauliflower takes the longest. Cauliflower probably takes about 20 minutes, but leave them. Don't touch them. Don't stir them around. Lovingly, what comes out is what we like to call veggie candy. So you pull that cauliflower up, and the part that was down on the stone, you pull it up, and it's got this nice crispy edge to it. I swear to you, it's like veggie candy. That's what I call it, because it's nice and crunchy and good. Here, babe. You're welcome. It's nice and crunchy and good, and the veggies turn out amazing, absolutely amazing. So that's my first thing. Second thing for you guys to try is a pizza. Whether you got the round stone or not, it doesn't matter. Take your stone, stick it in the oven, but I'm going to give you one big chore. Make your own pizza dough. And I have a fantastic recipe. Danielle, I'll send it to you here in just a second for you to post it in the chat, because I'm on my Facebook portal. Make your own pizza dough. It's totally different than you buying the already made refrigerated pizza dough. Totally different, totally different. Make your own pizza dough. Here's a little hint. Stick it in your quick cooker to let it rise. Okay, proof it in there. But second hint, don't leave it in there. When it's done, make sure you take it out. I learned from experience, it continues to rise, and it literally glues your quick cooker top shut. I didn't do it only once. I did it twice. I didn't learn the first time. I had to completely replace one of my lids because we had to pop out the, you can come in here, sorry, we had to completely pop out the little red thingy to give room for the dough to come out, and it looked like a turd. It was hysterical. I mean, it was really funny, but it just came pouring out of that hole, So it's a great way to proof your pizza dough, but just when it's done, make sure you take it out, okay? Because it does continue to proof. How
does a turd look?
Yeah, it was very funny. In fact, I bent that thing when I took it out. And to this day, like if I took that lid and shook it, you can hear the dry dough that's on the inside. It was almost a disastrous pizza night. Do the pizza on there. Create your whole pizza, let your stone heat up, dump it on there and let it cook. It's only going to take about 7 to 9 minutes for it to cook. It is the best pizza dough ever, y'all. Ever. It's so good. It is crunchy on the bottom. It's crunchy on the top, even with all your veggies on there. It is so good. And another little hint, take your garlic rub and do like a garlic rip around the side of it. So like, you don't have to do butter or anything else. Just put the little garlic rip around the side. Very, very good. So those are the 2 things that I highly recommend that if you guys have not tried, make sure you do. So one of the number 1 questions that we got asked, and I still get asked today, is can you take a hot stone and put it under the water? No, you cannot. That rule, you still cannot break the rule of putting it through thermal shock, okay? Second thing that people ask the most often is, does it really hurt the stone by putting it in the dishwasher? No, it doesn't. What it does do is it stops it from seasoning as fast. So it's not going to get that seasoning on there as quickly as if you were just to go the old traditional way of doing it with the scraper and, and not putting it in the dishwasher. So those are my 2 things that I have to tell you that I'm very, 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 very passionate about. Of course, there's a lot of the new ones, like I just used this guy right here. Love this, right? Everybody give me a hands up for this one. The deluxe grill and griddle. I love ever since we've discovered electricity, right? That was the best invention that Pampered Chef could have ever done, because it's definitely opened up our world. So now I just want to ask you, what do you want to learn about? What is something that you have a question about? And nothing is too big or too small. What do you want to know? Do we add bookings to a show before we finalize? Wait, hang on. I can't see the whole comment. I couldn't see the whole comment. Danielle, if you want to help me out there. Danielle, can you hear me?
The
I had
question was,
myself
how
on
do we
mute.
add
Yes, I can.
bookings to a show before we finalize? A customer placed an order and then decided to host a show.
Oh, yeah, that's super easy. Just there, you'll see. Are you doing this on a phone or a computer?
I wasn't the one that, they said laptop.
A laptop. Okay, so easy. When you go onto that party, click on that click on that guest. And when you scroll down, you're going to see 4 little choices. It's potential consultant, potential booking, future booking, and add to marketing email, I think it is. And so right there on that future booking, that's where you'll click off on it right there.
Anna, would you be so kind to talk about the glazed cast iron?
Oh, sure. Yeah, let me grab a piece. Hang on a second. I'll grab a couple pieces. Hang on. Here's one. Let me grab this one. Hang on.
Do you guys have any products that you would like her to talk about? If there's anything that you say, oh, I'd love to know more about blah, blah, blah. Ask now. It's not a time to be shy. Like this is what this is all about, is helping each other and learning. And Anna will take out any products and she's going to teach us all about them because she's awesome.
Oh, you're sweet. You're sweet. So, okay. So here's my story with cast iron. I am Cuban. My mom and dad were both born and raised in Cuba, and neither one of them really lifted a finger when they were there. So when they came to the US, it's kind of when they had to learn how to do everything. I was born here. Me and all my siblings were. But cooking on cast iron is not something that I was ever raised with. I was raised in Louisiana and I live in Texas now. And so you would think that cast iron would be a part of my cooking, right? But it wasn't. So when they came out with cast iron, that was kind of a new adventure for me to begin with, because I wasn't raised cooking on cast iron. And so this was another part of the products that came out for the fall. And I actually said to Jackie one day, because they kind of assigned the enamel cast iron to me. And so I said to Jackie, I was like, this is very new to me. I was just starting to learn how to cook on cast iron. And so I'm kind of a little thrown back on what to do with the enamel cast iron. And so Tim was so sweet to call me one day and set up a call and go, okay, let's kind of talk through this. Tell me kind of what you've done, what you haven't done. And so we talked through it, and I learned a lot about the enamel cast iron that I didn't know, that just kind of gave me a little bit more confidence to just start using it. And so that's what I would love to empower you guys. Raise your hand. Are you kind of, if you have it, are you kind of afraid to use it? Or you don't have it in your, because you're kind of afraid to use, or it's foreign to you? How many of you, okay, yeah, I see somebody raising their hand, like it's just kind of foreign to you. Okay, I see a couple of you guys. Okay, so it was to me too. So a couple of rules that I learned with the cast iron, and again, this may be cast iron, dummies, 101 for some of you guys, is because it holds its heat so well, you don't want to do what we do with regular cookware and crank it up to make it hurry up and heat up, because once it gets there, there's no turning back, right? Okay, there's no turning it down and making it cool off. So I had a couple of disasters with it. I did a Cuban arroz con pollo, fried the ever-living daylights out of the bottom of it. I mean, just sizzled it. But the cool thing was, guess what? I set it in water for, I don't know, maybe about 15, 20 minutes, took that scraper, and it literally came right off. So that was pretty cool. So the cleanup, even when you do screw up, okay, I can't quite see the comments. I got to come up closer. People say things stick to it. Okay, it is not, okay, so that's the second thing. It is a misconception that the enamel on there is a complete nonstick, because it's not. So it is a different cooking surface. It's kind of like, we are very desensitized, I guess you could say, to nonstick cookware, because that's what we as Americans love. So learning to cook on something like regular stainless steel, if any of you guys were with us when we used to have just the regular stainless steel, not the nonstick stainless, but the regular stainless, it's a different level of cooking. It's a different way to cook. Same thing with the cast iron versus the enamel cast iron, all right? It is not advertised as a non-stick surface because it's not a non-stick surface. You have to have something in there. So whether it be a little bit of butter, a little bit of oil, a little bit of water, a little bit of something in there when you're putting your food in there so that it doesn't stick. Now, what does slightly stick on there actually helps to flavor it really, really well. But it's just like when you cook in a stainless or even our non-stick stainless, you get that fond on there, those pieces that stick, and you have to add onions or a liquid, broth, water, anything like that to help all those little bits and pieces come up off of the bottom. Same thing with the enamel cast iron. If you're going to do something like browning some onions, you need to put some butter in there or a tiny bit of oil, just a little bit of something you've got to stick in there. If you're going to brown some, like something like a chicken, you're going to need to put a little bit of oil in there because the chicken isn't fatty enough, for you to brown something in there. Now, if you're going to brown something like some chicken, sear some chicken in regular cast iron, that's totally different. And that's where I would do like a browning of a chicken or the searing of a steak. I would not sear a steak in the enamel cast iron. Like the enamel cast iron has its own place for things. So things like, I will tell you, this one for bread, the Dutch oven for bread, is mind-blowing. It is absolutely the best because you literally create an oven within an oven that you're cooking that bread in. So you get that artisan bread that is super crunchy on the outside, but really, really, really tender on the inside. So if you're a bread maker, definitely use the Dutch oven for making the bread. The other ones, the casserole ones, these are perfect for doing things like macaroni and cheese from scratch, homemade. Yes.
Do you have a recipe for the artisan bread in the Dutch oven?
I do, and it's similar to the one they put on the website, and I guess I can share it because it's the one that Tim gave me to use. So, I mean, he'd never told me that I couldn't. So yes, I'll share that with you. It's a rosemary Parmesan bread. Oh,
I want it right now.
my gosh, it's so good. Yes, I'll give it to you. So that's two things, the pizza crust and that. Remind me, okay, Danielle, before I hang up, so that I'll do it from my phone, and then you can put it in the chat. Creamed spinach. Oh my gosh! Like, again, doing the oil with the onions, and then adding the flour and making the roux right there in your casserole. That's the kind of stuff that you want to use the enamel cast iron for. If you, again, use the traditional cast iron for searing things, like when you really want a sear. When you're wanting something that's a prettier dish. Here's another one. You can take this piece, you can marinate your meat in it. Marinate it, stick it in your fridge, leave it in there, because all of the marinades, like a lot of the things that we as Cubans marinate stuff with is like orange juice and lemon juice and cumin and onion and, but very acidic things. So you can marinate in here, stick it in the refrigerator, take it out, let this come, more to a room temperature. I actually do brown it on the stovetop in here. I'm not searing it. I'm just kind of browning it, and then put the whole thing in the oven, and then take it out, slice it up, put it back in there, put it on the table. Guys, it's kind of like what you guys were talking about with the rock crock. It's everything done right there in one piece. The difference is between this and the rock crock is this holds heat better and longer than the rock crock does. The other thing is on the Dutch oven is the lid, these little bumps. It is a huge difference. Nobody's stovetop, nobody's oven is completely level. And if you have a glass top on your stove, you have seen where all the moisture kind of tends to go to kind of to one spot or kind of to one side. This eliminates that. Regardless of where that moisture is going, it's literally going to allow it to rain down on and evenly baste all of your food when you're doing something more like this, a savory dish, like a meat or, even a vegetable dish.
And
so does that kind of help? Yeah. Does that kind of help clear up the difference?
Definitely. But Jana would like to know, how do you set the dual temperatures on the grill and griddle?
Oh, all right. Hold on. If you guys have not watched that video, hang on, let me grab some plates because I was just using those plates. I'll just grab these. And let me see if I can bring you guys over here as well. Okay, I know these plates don't match. All right, let me see if I can turn. This little thing is not wanting to sit up here. Stay like that. I don't know why. Okay, so when you're doing, let's see, I'm going to try to bring my portal over here so you guys can see. I don't know if this is going to work or not. Whoop. Let's see if I can hold this. Get my boob out of the way here. All right. Can you see it? Sorta. Somebody say something because I can't really see you guys.
Perfect.
Okay. So when you're ready to do the two different temperatures, if you come here and then you hit top and bottom right there, you're going to see, can you see where it says top? When you press the top bottom button and then you adjust your temperature for your top, then once you've set your temperature, you press it again and it says BTM for bottom, and you set your temperature for your bottom and then you press it and it's ready to go. Very easy. So same thing. You could do panini. You could press start, hit top. It's going to give you one. Hit bottom. It's going to give you the other. So you have to choose a function first before you hit top bottom. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Does that help whoever asked that?
Yeah, and that helps a whole lot. I have used it. I used it a couple weeks ago for eggs and sausage, and I used the griddle for the sausage and the grill. Yeah.
Good. Okay.
And the ridge one for the sausage, and oh, it came out so good. So much better than in a skillet. So much better.
I just love that you can throw those two little thin pieces in the dishwasher and you're done.
I know, but they're so easy to clean.
I know, but it's so easy just to throw all 6 of them. When you use all 6 of them in a day, it's so easy just to chunk them in the dishwasher and you're done. Yeah.
I have a quick question on that, Anna. So do you have to do the top bottom only when you're going to have it open to cook on both sides? I mean, if you just hit panini and you have it closed, is it going to automatically heat both sides? I mean, is it going to heat from both sides if it's you are using it closed? Does that make sense at all? Or
No,
like
say it
waffle,
again, Denise.
okay. So when you're cooking,
It's you, right? I
Yeah,
can't see.
it's okay.
Okay,
So
I can't
when you're cooking on an open flat, when you're cooking on both sides, is that when you have to hit top bottom? And that's the only time
You can top bottom whatever you want. So what I have figured out is like when I do the pizza, my bottom tends to cook too fast. Okay, so like that artichoke and spinach pizza, I just did it for the 3rd time and I'm about to do it again. And I figured on this last time. So it says you hit grill and you set it for whatever, 5 minutes. And then you put the pizza crust in there, you close it and you cook it for 2 minutes and then you open it. But for whatever reason, my bottom always kind of gets a little more cooked than I like it. So what I've started to do is I'm turning the temperature. So I'm doing the top bottom and I'm setting the temperature on the bottom grate about 25 degrees lower. So I'm setting it like at 325, I think is what I did. Hang on, what does it go at? Hang on. Wait, hang on, I'll tell you for sure. No, I set it at 375. So it automatically sets at 400. I set it at 375 and then set the top at 400. I cook it for the 2 minutes. Then I open it up, hit cancel, and then set the bottom to 250, which is what it says to do, and set the top at 480, and then make it hover and go over the top. But no, you can do the 2 parts independent of each other on any function. Maybe not on sear.
I guess my question is that do you need to set the temperature for both sides if you're going to use it closed, or does it automatically set the temperature for both sides? So it's not going to get hot on the top unless we hit top bottom.
No, it's going to get, when you set the temperature on any of these. So like if I was to put it on grill, it says 400 on here. If I hit start, the top and the bottom are going to be 400 degrees.
Okay, that was my question. Okay.
It's going to be the same unless you tell it not to be the same.
Got it. Okay, got it.
Okay. All right, what other questions do you guys have?
Remember, there's no silly questions. Ask anything that you want to know, any product that you want information on, she can pull out of the kitchen and tell you about. So feel free to ask.
I'm thankful for the self-basting words. I had no idea how to explain that before, so thank you for that. I knew what it was.
Yeah.
The self-basting, I knew what it was, but I didn't know how to explain it. So those words were brilliant for me.
So just think of it literally, it's like raining down, like all that condensation's coming on here, and these little bumps allow it to literally sprinkle down instead of kind of rolling and kind of pouring into one area. It literally creates its own little rainforest in there, that just kind of base all the food on its own. Okay, well, if you guys don't have a question, I'm going to show you one of my favorites. Hold on, because it's in the dishwasher because I used it earlier. Okay. How many of you guys have the close and cut? I feel like so many new products have come out that, I see a bunch of hands. Okay, who doesn't have the close and cut? I see one. Hang on. Does anybody else not have it?
There was about 3 hands that went up.
Okay, so you guys tell me, what do you love about the close and cut?
It's too easy to use.
It is too easy to use, yes.
It's so much easier and it's neater and you get better slices. You get an even slice. You're not trying to hold 2 plates. It's not moving all over your counter.
And
so
it's dishwasher safe.
What kinds of things do you use it for?
Grapes, olives,
chicken,
tomatoes.
Bagels.
So did you know that you can butterfly stuff with it too?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just don't go all the way. I mean, really any protein, any vegetable. You can take a piece of 2 pieces of zucchini and stick them in there and zap it if you've already got something, and it's going to evenly cut them exactly in half. and then stick it in there again and do it again. So like if you don't have the quick slice, like let's say you're grilling zucchini, you know, and you don't have the quick slice to make nice, even thin pieces, stick it in here and do it in there. And you can do it in there. So yeah, that's another one of my big favorites. An oldie, but a goodie.
I'm so
would-
glad you
Yeah.
mentioned about butterflying them. I totally forgot about that.
I would love to know what your favorite knife is, and if you could tell our teams a couple quick tips on your favorite knife.
Hang on, let me grab another one. This is my favorite. Is the chef's knife. And I'll be honest with you, what didn't used to be my favorite, but years ago before they when they were coming out with the new knives, I was on the knife committee, and I was actually a little intimidated by this knife. And so a couple things that I say about the knife is you know, the right way to hold a knife, and we as women suck at holding it the right way. I'm just going to tell you that right now. For whatever reason, we're dainty and dumb, right, with the knife. But if you take your loser fingers, right, and think about, you don't want to lose a finger. Let me put this down before I lose a finger. You don't want to lose a finger. So take those two loser fingers, and on the bigger knives, it's got the little indent, you know, the little circles on there. But if you take those two loser fingers and you use those fingers to wrap them around the neck, that is the proper way to hold the knife. This is what we women do. Pay attention to the next time you grab a knife. That is the most unstable way to hold a knife. So all of the knives, anytime you use a knife should be an extension of your hand. You should have a good enough grip on that no matter how you turn your wrist and your arm, that knife is going to turn with you. And when you hold it the correct way by using those loser fingers, okay, and wrapping it around, you know, my thumb's on this side, right? This finger's wrapped around the neck this way. That's the correct way to hold the knife. And this is your favorite. This will become your favorite knife because you can literally go through anything. The other thing to do that's hard when you have not, and it's hard for me too, is the proper way to chop stuff. You got to think knuckles. Your knuckles should always be against this knife. Okay. Mm-hmm. So when you're on the cutting mat or the cutting board and you're cutting, your fingers, let's see, let me see if I can do it like this where you guys can see. Your fingers should be holding, it's not going to cooperate. Your fingers should be holding the food like this and sliding the food back, and the knife should be up against your knuckles. So then you're never at risk at cutting your fingers. Another little hint that I love to tell my customers, and they do this all the time, is whenever you're using a knife on a cutting board or a mat and you're about to scoop the stuff, guys, it's so easy to flip that knife over and to slide your food with the back side of your knife. That'll totally preserve the blade of your knife. Don't ever use the blade side to scoot your food across the cutting mat. Just flip your knife over and just scoot your food, and then you can flip it back and you're right into position again. You know, flip it to scoot it.
Wow.
Flip it to put it back.
You're awesome. See?
Anna, the other
So brilliant.
I give about
Brilliant.
the knives, guys, is when you put them in your knife block, so many times you put the blade so that it's rubbing against the knife block as it goes in. If you flip it over and use the back of the knife and slide it in, then you're preserving your blade a little bit longer as well. So think about it, look at it.
Here's a funny thing that I learned when I was on that knife committee. God, that was right before Brent and I got married. So that was probably 4 years ago. So I was in Chicago, and they actually, and this is very interesting for you guys to know, and I don't know if you know that they do this. They have all kinds of equipment in the test kitchen to actually test the durability of products. And 3 things that we learned about when we were there in the test kitchen was, number 1, the stoneware and the pizza cutter. So they literally had this machine that had a pizza cutter that was going back and forth rhythmically on the stone, and they could adjust the pressure that the pizza cutter was giving, putting on the stone, as well as the speed of it going back and forth. So they could play with, how much wear and tear both on the pizza stone and on the pizza cutter that it was given. So that was one thing. The next thing that we learned about is, this is when we, I think we were on round 2 of kitchen spritzers. They had literally just gotten all of the kitchen spritzers that they could find on the market. And they sat there and played with and tested every single one of them with how many times they could use them, before the mechanism broke down, you know, how much they had to pump it, how much pressure, all this kind of stuff. And what they found, they bought the cheapest ones, they bought the most expensive ones. And what they found was ours was right in line, if not better than the most expensive ones that were out there on the market, but ours were a lot cheaper. So they literally do testing on that. And when it comes to knives, this is what we learned. They had a machine that would sit there and enter and exit the knives in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out of the block. Because if you guys remember, our other block, okay, this is the newer block. The other block used to have the slits going this way, right?
Mhm. That's
And
mine.
they changed it this way just more for aesthetic reasons, because what they found was that they could not definitively find any proof that pulling the knife out on the blade side was good or bad. But what they did say, like, they couldn't find that it was ruining the knives any faster or unsharpening or making them dull. But what they did say, what Tim said, he was like, you know what? He goes, but if it makes you feel better to do it, he's like, it doesn't hurt it. It actually just creates a bigger danger to have the knife with the blade side up versus the blade side down. So I just thought it was really interesting that they literally do test all of these theories and all of these things out there with our products as well. So I thought that was kind of neat. But it was literally like a little machine, and it had just this pizza cutter going just back and forth, you know, kind of like you know.
That is really cool. I didn't know that. Thank you for sharing that. That's
Pretty neat,
awesome.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Well, we have been so blessed to have Anna with us for this long. So I don't want to keep her away from her husband for the whole night. Does anybody have any last minute questions before she shares her pizza recipe and the bread recipe with us?
I think there was one more on the chat, and someone
Okay.
wanted to know if you've used the fruit leather trays.
Yeah, actually, watch this. Look, hang on.
Right in the fridge. Look at that.
So I did these probably, whoops, hold on, we're stuck to the top now. I did these about 2 weeks ago, and I'm kind of doing a little experiment on this. So I did these were the mango, crap, I can't remember what was in these. These were the mango something. And I did not use the parchment paper. And guys, look at this.
Wow.
And you did you freeze those?
No, they're in my refrigerator.
The fridge. Okay.
In my fridge, but who's gonna unroll them? I'm just gonna eat them.
Oh my gosh. I want one of those now too. I need bread, fruit roll-ups. I need to get my kitchen.
Pizza.
Pizza.
So the fruit roll-up one, it was one of the Pampered Chef recipe. It was mango and I know it had orange juice in it. God, I can't remember. And mango and apple maybe. So the one thing that I did do different that may have altered why, like how they didn't stick, and I'm not kidding you, these have been in the refrigerator for at least 2 weeks, okay, just to give you a heads up, is like it said to put, I can't remember the amount, like 2 tablespoons or something in each well, but that's not what I did. I'll show you what I did. Come on. Okay, so I used this. I filled this sucker up, all right? And I'm gonna lean it like this so that you can see, but with it sitting on the counter, I used the long skinny scraper or the long, whatever you call it, blender scraper thingy. And this worked perfect to smooth out and get the lines right here that you needed. And then I just scooted off to the side, anything that was extra, or kind of scooted it over. And these wells were full. So it definitely took more than, I think it was 2 tablespoons is what it said to put in there. I had them very full. Now, what that did cause is it did take them longer to cook. Like I think it said 10 to 12 hours. And I think mine ended up taking, I think like either 13 or 14 hours. So I just started it the night before and then just let them cook through the next, like overnight. And they were ready by, whatever, 8, 9, 10 o'clock that next morning, they were ready. So mine, I feel like, are thicker than what Home Office is telling us to do it. So if you want them to cook faster, then do them thinner. But I also, like, it called for orange juice. Basically, all you guys are doing with these is you're blending the mixture up, right? But you're removing the moisture out of them to make the fruit roll-ups. And so the more moisture you put in, then the more moisture has to evaporate and dehydrate out. So like, I haven't quite figured out why they call for liquid in each one of them. And like this one called for orange juice in it. And I'm like, well, why? I don't know why you're putting the orange juice in there if you're trying to get rid of liquid, unless it's just for the flavoring. So I'm going to kind of play with it. But anyway, that was my biggest thing that I wanted to show you, is that the thought of sitting there and cutting parchment paper pieces, you know, to make them fit. And I mean, here's another one. It didn't stick. It's okay. So
You're making us hungry.
sorry. Oh, the pizza recipe. That's where I was. Wait, hang on. Okay, so keep talking, Danielle. I'm going to pull these recipes and send them.
Wow, that was such a great training tonight. I don't know about you guys, but I feel really blessed tonight. It was awesome. We learned a lot, shared a lot of information. So thank you to everybody for joining us tonight, for wearing a crazy fun hat, and for bringing your favorite product to training. And thank you so much for Anna investing and filling into our lives tonight. So thank you so much.
So if I can jump in real quick too, Anna, I want you guys to think about how you feel right now. Do you feel excited? I'm feeling hungry. I mean, we are feeling a whole bunch of stuff right now from her training tonight. And I want you to leave tonight also remembering is when you go live on your parties, when you teach your customers, that's how you want to leave them. You want to leave them excited, hungry, wanting more, whatever it may be, because then they're excited, right? Now they want to buy more from you. They want to buy that product from you because you're getting them excited about it. So however you're feeling right now, I want you to work that into your live videos and your live demos for your own customers so that they can start feeling that way from you.
All right, Danielle, I'm sending you the pizza one right now. And let me pull I just sent it to you in Messenger because I've got Zoom on my Facebook portal. And then let me go, Rose, Mary, Parmesan. Okay, hang on. Let me go back to our little home office group to pull this other one.
Christy, I just sent it to you because for some reason I'm not that smart on the computer. And so I can't figure out how to get it from my phone to the computer. So Christy will be able to do that for us.
Did you email it to me or text it to me? What'd you do?
Facebook Messenger.
Okay. All right. I'll check it.
Okay, I have